Say hello.
Hi.
Hi, we're glad to be here today. Meaning, I have lost, I cannot find our Spark Bible that we typically read from. I've looked for it and looked for it and looked for it, and I've even sat down and thought, dear God, please help me find the Spark Bible, because I couldn't find it. Okay? So what was I just doing? Dear God, please help
You were
me.
praying.
I was praying. That's right, I was praying. So what is prayer? What is prayer?
I don't know.
Well, think about what you do when you pray. What do you do?
You say you might need help or
Yeah? So you might pray.
sorry.
Yeah, well, those are the...
or thank you.
Yes, that's right. Those are kind of the three main reasons you say prayers. But prayer is a time to talk to God, right?
Yeah.
So either, because you've lost something, and so that's what I was praying about, or
this morning I prayed about Mary Kay because she got fever.
That's right. Mary Manning is supposed to have a spend the night company, and her friend is having fever, and so she was really praying to hope she feels better, right? All right. Well, this story is about a Pharisee. And do you know what a Pharisee is?
No.
A Pharisee, a long time ago, they were people that believed in God. And then the other one is a tax collector. And a tax collector, a long time ago, you wouldn't mail your bills, your taxes in. People would take your money from you, and then they would take it where it was supposed to go. But while they were doing that, they would kind of take a little bit. So was that a good... do you think people thought highly of those people? No, because they were thieves. They took money, right? All right, so this is called How to Pray. How to Pray. This is a different little Bible, but it works still. Okay. In those days...
No, I read it. In those days, there were some extra super holy people.
At least that's what they thought.
And they were called Pharisees.
The Pharisees. So they thought they were really holy.
Yeah. Every day they would stand out there in the middle of the street and pray out loud in the big, extra super holy voices. They really weren't praying so much as just showing off.
Have you ever seen somebody show off? So they're doing it more, not for God, not because they're really praying. They're out there just being loud so everybody thinks, oh, look at them, look at them. Have you ever seen anybody show off?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, good. Well, good. Okay, keep going.
They used lots of special words that were so clever no one understand what they meant.
All right, so that's good. All right, so they were using big words to sound all smart and being real loud so everybody could hear, right? All right. People walking by would stop and stare, which might sound rude, except that's exactly what the extra super holy people wanted. They wanted everyone to say, look at them, they're so holy. God must love those people the best. Now, you and I both know that they were wrong. God doesn't just love holy people, but the people walking by weren't so sure. Perhaps you did have to be really clever or good or important for God to love you. Perhaps you had to know a lot of difficult, clever words to speak to God. Do you think you have to know lots of clever words to speak to God? So, one day, Jesus taught people how to pray. He said, when you pray, don't pray like those extra super holy people. They think if they say lots of words, God will hear them. But it's not because you're so clever or good or so important that God will listen to you. God listens to you because He, what?
Loves you.
He loves you. Did
He's
you
our Father.
know, that's right, did you know that God is always listening to you? Did you know that God can hear the quietest whisper deep inside your heart, even before you started to say it? because God knows exactly what you need even before you ask Him. Jesus told them, you see, God just can't wait to give you all that you need. So you don't need to use long words or special words. You don't have to use a special voice. You just have to talk. So when you pray, pray in your normal voice, just like when you're talking to someone you love very much. That's not it. So this Bible is different. So it doesn't really talk about the tax collector, but maybe Vicar Andy can talk about the tax collector. But it does kind of get to the point about how those people were just trying to show off. And in the real story, there's also a tax collector, and he wasn't the best kind of guy. He wasn't a holy guy, but he was able to say, I'm
sorry.
I'm sorry. That's right. And he knew to pray to God about that. And I love that story, because even at our worst, we can still ask for forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
And God is always going to love us, right? Right. All right, let's go get our stuff to do our activity, okay? So let's talk about those 3 reasons that we learned about. 3 main reasons why we say prayers. What are those reasons? To say thank you.
Sorry. Hello. Help.
Yeah. Thank you, sorry, and help. So if you wanted to say, dear God, it is such a beautiful day. I feel so lucky to be here today. What would that be? What kind of prayer?
Thank you.
A thank you prayer. Well, if you wanted to say, dear God, I'm having trouble. I am struggling on my math homework. I'm struggling to get this right. What would that be? Help. And then there's also another prayer. When sometimes, every once in a while, we do something that we know we need to say what for?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. And if you've ever been really sorry, sometimes what's really nice to do, if you're sorry, is to give someone some flowers, right? So, very good. So what we have is these paper doilies that we got from the dollar store. And what we're gonna do is kind of roll them and make a cone. A cone shape, yeah.
Is this right?
Yeah, looks good.
Can I have a little help?
Here, yeah, you can have that one right there. And then before you do it, or after you do it, either way, you can color it.
Or glue something on it.
Put something on it. Yeah, like I have these little sequins, just because I have these in my classroom. And you could decorate it. And then you could either take fake flowers, and we're gonna use these dried hydrangeas, something that doesn't need water, right? And then my stuff's falling off, but you get the idea. So it's okay to say I'm sorry. Sometimes it's hard to say I'm sorry, but I think making this vase will make you remember the importance of saying you're sorry, right?
Yes.
It's important to say sorry to everyone. To God, to the people, anyone that you have made sad or anything like that. Have you ever needed to say you're sorry to someone?
Yes.
Who have you needed to say you're sorry to?
I needed to say sorry to Feels
For what?
for hitting him.
For hitting him. And I bet that was kind of hard, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, making this vase is going to help us remember. I think in our story today, the tax collector did not have as much trouble as the Pharisee saying they're sorry. And I think that's an interesting thing, because in those days, tax collectors, they were kind of what, Meme? They were kind of the guys that maybe were seen as bad guys, because a lot of times tax collectors, what they would do is you didn't mail in your money like you do nowadays. They would get the money, and so then they would take it to where it needed to go. But a lot of times tax collectors would take a little off the top. So they were thieves, essentially. Yeah. And Pharisees were the people who believed in God. But in our Bible story, we saw that the Pharisee just wanted to be real showy about himself, and showy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you look beautiful, huh?
Thank you.
And I loved that. So even if you do things wrong, like the tax collector did, saying you're sorry is a great, great thing. And God will always accept your forgiveness, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, I hope y'all have fun. Ooh, Mary Mannings is very beautiful. Making these vases, and we'll see you next week, okay?
Bye-bye.
Bye.